When my parents arrived in Bogota City starts the history. My dad arrived from Neiva City, Huila Department, and my mom from Barbosa Town, Santander Department. They were met and fell in love with each other, and finally, on November 14th of 1981, I arrived of this world. My first years were normal. I lived with my parents and my old sister. I started my studies and my pleasure in soccer, nature, and social life started too. From an early age, I always was traveling. My parents carried me to visit my grandparents to their origin places on vacation. Doing that, my pleasure about travel and by the nature was increased. After vacation, when I was in the second grade of elementary school, my life left to be normal. Well, changed. My parents got divorced and my mother decided to leave Bogota City to a near town of there named Sasaima. And it was a great experience. In this place I had direct contact with nature, with the animals, with the fruit trees, the rivers, the hills, and definitely loved it. I got my elementary and secondary degrees there. In those times, after you got your secondary degree, you had to pay for your military service. And I did it. I returned to Bogota as a soldier. Was during 1 year there. When I finally finished my military service, I returned with my new family, which they lived in Ibagué, totally my apartment. I started a career in college, but after 1 year, I decided to return to the Colombian Army as a non-commissioned officer. And for that, I had to study in the military academy in the Ptolemaic Fort. When I got my promotion, I flew for the first time on a plane from Bogota to Medellin. I had to get to Andes, a small town of the Antioquia department. I started my military career there. I almost lost my life there, but fortunately, after 2 years to walk a lot, I was moved to El Espino, a small town in the north of Boyacá department. I walked a lot too there, and I knew the Sierra Nevada del Cocuy. After another 2 years more, I was moved to Caucasia, who is a town in Antioquia, but in this travel I decided to visit Andes again, where I met who some time later became my wife. After a difficult month, I have moved to Bogota again. I got married and started my life as a husband. I had a big trip to San Jose del Guaviare, and finally I was moved to a Florencia Caqueta apartment. After 2 years, I have moved to Ptolemaida again. I was really excited to be there. I did military parachuting, and then 2 years later, I was moved to a Cali. But after 1 month, I was fired. I got home and I got divorced. I moved to Bogota again to start a new life there. I started a new career and a new job as a real estate agent. But the city bored me. Much chaos and congestion. I decided to live in Andes, where I have lived wonderful experience. I traveled to Bucaramanga and Tayrona Park. I did diving in Taganga Beach. I started a new career at the University of Antioquia, but I didn't like it. I lived in a farm for a year. I did paragliding and I hiking and trekking. I studied in UNAP College and PA in foreign language with major in English and technology and tourist guide in Sena. I have a part-time job and my work continue.